Alright, on this video I want to talk about how to extract, at a local and personal level, how to extract carbon from the atmosphere. Alright? And this is a technology-based one. So, the U.S. military, produced a carbon extruder. Basically, what it did was it created a machine, and understand that this was financed by your tax dollars, all right, to make this carbon extruder. And what it does is basically what it extrudes looks like spider web. But what it is carbon that is extracted directly from the atmosphere, all right, and put through this machine, and basically, like a spider does, it spins out a carbon nanotube, all right, webbing, all right. So, it would be a smart thing to do is to demand the rights for everybody, for the public, to be able to utilize this technology, and so that you can use this carbon nanotube. Because the interesting thing about carbon is that when you place carbon near another carbon atom, it automatically wants to bind with other carbon atoms. You don't need any electrical source. You don't need any of that. You just place them close enough together, and wham bam, thank you ma'am, they come together. Now with this machine, what it does is it makes it so that it comes together, so that it extrudes a string of carbon nanotubes, fibers. That's what it does. And so, if we do that, and we allow, we get the rights to do this, and we just don't simply keep it to ourselves, and we spread it all over the globe, so that everybody who wants to utilize this technology, and we can get millions of people, to hundreds of millions of people, to extrude this carbon nanotube fiber, which can be used in all sorts of applications, from making clothing, to making building material, to manufacturing, basically almost anything you can possibly think of. There's one way to extract some of the excess carbon that's going into the atmosphere. We get hundreds of millions of people utilizing this technology. And how much carbon can we extract out? And what new business and vocation it will create? And what new products that we can produce and sell at a local level? Sounds like a good plan, doesn't it? Combine that particular technology with high tensile strength ceramics, and you have access to a superior building material that can be applied to anything and everything. Building your homes, building your transportation vehicles, building entire cities, that don't require us, knocking things down. Where we could simply, if we want to expand, the way it's done by geo construction methods, and making each building block almost like you're putting together Legos, and you can build anything and everything, and rather than knocking something down, you simply take apart sections to expand it, to add to it. So that way you're not knocking down entire buildings. The interconnectivity of cities and the multiple levels you can create, building upwards or down underground, to use in building underwater cities, or cities that float on the ocean. The application to use it to create space elevators, and construct infrastructure out in space, so that we can utilize solar energy better, so that we can create fusion reactors out in space, where the conditions out in space are perfect. Outside of the electromagnetic shielding of the Earth, we could create fusion reactors that, because of the atmosphere out there, which is the lack of atmosphere out there, and the very depths of cold out in space, makes creating a fusion reactor, along with collecting the byproduct that is made by the sun, the helium-3, which there is extremely strong and very and peer-reviewed and peer-accepted technology, that using helium-3 is the easiest and most efficient way to create fusion reactors, which is what the sun and all stars do. It's a fusion reaction, not fission, but fusion. And fusion reactors will give us more power with far greater efficiency. And you use that, and you can send down that energy down into the planet, onto the planet, to be used by us. We could eliminate use of fossil fuels. We'd have an endless supply of it. And there are those who are billionaires who want to mine the moon, because the moon's been collecting helium-3 for billions of years. But that's a typical way for these billionaires and others to think, of collecting it. When, in fact, by the simple use of a gel that NASA created, and you can create that out in space and manufacture it out in space, you could make gel collectors that would collect the constant stream of helium-3, and then simply take that and then simply extract the helium-3 from the gel, and utilize it to, as reactor fuel, rather than doing something as dangerous as putting instability and unknown effects that mining the moon for helium-3 could have, the adverse effects. But that's not what billionaires and others, because they're all plainly stupid, and they plainly lack any form of caution, because all they want to do is make money. Because if they can create a crisis and then they can make more money off that crisis. That is what your billionaires and 100 millionaires, that's how they think. They are sociopaths, they are sociopaths, they are psychopaths, they are a clear and present danger to all that is good. You know, I talk of several, I talk of ideas constantly. And that's because I'm one that believes in technology, but I also believe in being responsible, because responsibility means being conscious of self-preservation, and that is in fact a good thing, because if you think about self-preservation and about not creating problems for yourself in the future, and you take into consideration and you think, it completely changes how you think. It completely incorporates much of everything, and it also allows you to say when you're wrong. So I can say when I say something that I didn't put enough thought into, that I did not collect enough information on, I can say I was wrong about it. It makes you more honest. It makes you more aware. And that's what we all need. It's not enough to be a person elected into politics. It's not enough to be labeled a leader. You have to be able to think and see with clarity and be honest. And you have to be able to incorporate knowledge so that you have a better understanding. And that's what I always try to do. And that is what I always aspire to be. I don't aspire to be a millionaire. I don't aspire to be a billionaire. I don't aspire to be a leader. I aspire to be a clear visioned thinker. I aspire to that because that clarifies what compassion, empathy, love, responsibility, respectability, honorability, and morality is all about. Everything that is good, it gives you a clear vision, a clearer vision. Doesn't mean that I'm perfect, you'll be perfect. It means that you'll be growing, you'll be evolving. That is what we all need. That is what we all should aspire to. Aspiring to be a movie star, or a sports star, or a fashion model, or those are all nonsense. It's complete nonsense. Being a person who aspires to be what I just described is what makes us into more perfect people, therefore a more perfect community, more perfect society, more perfect world. And that is the purpose of what it means to be human. Because when you do that, you want to be a caretaker. You need to be a caretaker. You are obligated to be a caretaker because you are responsible. A caretaker of the planet, therefore our home. A caretaker of your neighbor, your friends, of your community, everything. It encompasses it all. And the only way we will evolve is through aspirations to reach this and to continue. And not just in a few years, but the entirety of your lifetime. That is what aspiration is. Aspiration isn't, oh, I want to be liked by others. I want to be I want I want to be able to have sex with anybody I want, or be able to tell somebody what to do. True aspiration is to want to leave behind the ignorance that makes us animals, and thereby be our own worst enemies. Because if you just want to live and just restrict yourself, then we're no better than the animals that we so look down upon. You see, what the biggest difference between us and animals is that we have the capability to leave behind the animal in human and be human beings. And I've said this before, and I'll keep pounding away at it and keep saying it. To have a perfect society, we must want to perfect ourselves. And if we cannot do that, we are nothing more than the herds of beasts walking around just eating and roaming, looking for more food. Or the animal predators who just eat, sleep, and shit. Because that's what animals are. And they have to work at it. And work meaning they have to expend the physical labor. We are capable of going beyond physical labor and aspiring to be the responsible, respectable, aware, and woke caretakers of our home, the planet. That's what it comes down to. All right, thank you for your time.